Hi, my name's Craig Vinnie Whitehead, and for a while now I've been adventuring into film photography. I started out with this Canon 80-1 program and had such a great time shooting 35mm film. I made a video of the first time I blasted through a roll of film on this, which you can check out on this YouTube channel. After publishing that video, my good friend Mark saw how much I enjoyed my film photography, and he gave me these two amazing vintage cameras. Now these are both medium format 120mm film photography cameras, a type of camera that I've never used before. This one here is an Ilford Sporti, I believe it's from the 1960s. This one here is a Balda Baldix, which I believe is from the 1950s. So as these cameras are really old and probably haven't been used in many years, and I've never shot medium format film before, I thought it'd be a really good idea to go seek some advice from the West Yorkshire Camera shop in Leeds. So I jumped on a train with my camera bag packed and I headed over to Leeds. The West Yorkshire Camera shop is located in the Grand Arcade just off New Briggate. So I popped in where I met Emmy, who was there to give me some solid advice and some tips on using these cameras.
This camera works via a rangefinder. Essentially it's got a tiny little yellow patch on the inside of it, and you have to line up the little patch with the rest of the frame in order to create the image and make sure it's focused properly. With these older cameras, they tend to get a little bit dimmer. It's mainly due to age and haze, which comes up in the viewfinder and the rangefinder. There's not really much you can do with some of these cameras, especially this Balda, but it can just about work. It goes click, which is always a good sign. You have to use zone focus as well, which is a whole other beast in itself. You've got no actual focusing, so you just sort of have to guess and hope for the best. But that's the best one I'd say put a roll through just to see if it works or not. But it's a good little camera, the little Ilford Sporti. It's a good fun. Okay, so these take a bulb that's no longer made anymore, unfortunately. The batteries aren't made anymore, I don't think either. But the bulbs have a very big tendency to explode once they're used. It's not very convenient, to be honest, but please don't use it. Please don't use it. Both of them take 120, which is roll film. You get less photos in each of them, but you also get bigger images, so that's a plus and a negative, depending on which way you look at it. This one you have a lot more manual control in terms of being able to focus it, shutter speeds, aperture, etc. This one is just sort of a very basic point and shoot and hope for the best. If I was going to put a roll through it, I would say this one, just because there's less to go wrong compared to this one, but choice is yours. I'd say this one though, personally.
So after getting some solid advice from Emmy about the cameras and her recommendations, I decided it would be worth getting a roll of film for each, running it through the cameras and seeing if I could get some good shots. I'm going to load up the film, head out, take some photographs, and we'll see how it goes. So I've come to a point on the York riverbank where I found this spot. I'm going to get a photo of the bridge with the Ilford Sporti. I've got a good shot set up. I did bring my tripod out, but I'm going to use this wall. So I guess all I'm going to do now is frame the shot on the wall, and I think I'm going to wait for a nice boat to come and try and get that in the picture as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So I've set it to cloudy and I've set it to views on the rangefinder, and I guess it's just a case of now hoping for the best when it comes out. Still waiting for a boat. Hopefully one will come by soon. It's really funny actually. While I was picking the spot, loads of boats came by, and now I just feel like I've got the camera set up. I'm just waiting for a boat, you know. They'll be like buses, two will come at once. There's actually two boats coming at once. What did I say? Are they going to cross in shot? Am I going to get them both in? Or am I just going to come for the one that's going this way? Let's have a look. Here we go. Just going to hold it there. I'm going to take it when this first boat gets in the centre of the frame. Well, I think that was it. That was my boat. Hope that one turns out. Okay, so for my next shot, I was just on my way past and found this graveyard. The sun was kind of coming over really nicely over the top and shining down on here. It has clouded over a little bit, but I've kind of got something nice lined up. I think with a black and white film on a really old camera, a shot of some graves could look quite spooky and quite good, so let's give it a go. Got a little audience member, there's a little cat in the background there enjoying me take that photo. Hope that one turns out good for the cat. Okay, so I was just walking by and this little lane caught my attention. It's got good leading lines going down, so I'll think photo number 3, possibly my last one of the day. Just come out and do 3 today, and yeah, it looks like it could be quite a cool shot, so yeah, I'm gonna wind the camera on. It's on number 2 at the moment. Slowly wind that so it says number 3. Here it's coming. Here we go, ready for photo number 3. Don't want no double exposures on my first roll of film, do I? Alright, all 3 shots have clicked. They've clicked, so it's all good so far. Hope that one turns out. Taking my first 3 photos. Quite happy with myself, I've enjoyed it, so well worth putting a roll of film in these cameras so far. I've only brought the Ilford out today, so if you want to see what the photos turn out like on the Balda, you'll have to just keep watching. Today I've come into the garden where I planned on doing a couple of portrait photos with Hannah. I've just got the Balda out of the case, and unfortunately the glass on the rangefinder has just dropped inside of it. I think the glue has just gone. I tried to fix it and I've just wasted one exposure faffing about with this one. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to get any shots in focus. Just going to have to eyeball it, set the dials to the same distance and hope for the best, but we'll have a go at a couple of portraits with Hannah and we'll see what happens. For my first portrait shot of Hannah in the garden, I'm going to use the Ilford Sporti. I've measured she's about 7 feet away, so I've set the focal length to roughly that and we'll just hope for the best. Ready? Perfect. Okay, that was number 1. Now it's time to take my first photo on the Balda. So again, I've set the focal length to 7 feet. I've set the viewfinder to 7 feet, going with 50 frames per second and an aperture of 5.8. Let's see how this one turns out. Okay, let's go. I think that did it. So that was my first photo on the Balda, taken of Hannah. The next couple of photos, I'm going to try and take a couple of photos of my cat Motley in the garden. This could prove to be quite challenging. Motley! Motley! He is not playing ball. There was one. I'm going to take a couple on this camera because I've no idea if it works, and yeah, I've taken quite a few more on the Ilford, so we'll try and catch the rolls up. not firing. So I tried, it didn't fire. I don't know if this is going to end up in a double exposure. Again, I think that's a wasted exposure. There's nothing you can do to sort of recock it, you have to wind it on. Okay, that one definitely fired. Good boy. This would be so much easier with a digital camera. Okay, while he's behaving on the bench, try and get one so we can do an A/B comparison with the Ilford. And he's just walked off the bench. I really hope that one turns out. He posed really nicely just then. The Balda is proving to be quite difficult. It doesn't always fire, and when it does, it jams up, and the only way to unlock it, to get it to fire for the next photo, is to wind it on to the next exposure. So at the moment, it's saying I've taken 6 shots. I'm fairly confident that 2 of those are just wasted exposures through having to wind it on. The Ilford, on the other hand, we've got 100% click rate, so I'm really hoping that all these photos turn out. I've come to these nice little gardens because I was pretty sure there'd be a photo in here somewhere, so let's see what we get. Another 2 photos on the Balda. The shutter fired both times. 3 exposures left on this camera. Hope you've enjoyed the video so far. If you've watched it this far, thanks a lot, it means the world. Please keep watching. Let's see how the rest of the photos turn out. So I'm on day 4 now of shooting with the vintage cameras. I've just had a couple of misfires with the Balda, and I've just got 1 shot of the Minster from this angle down here, and that's it. Come to the end of the roll and have 4 misfires in total, so hopefully we've got 8 photos out of 12. We'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, only 6 exposures from the Balda turned out, and I didn't get one of the Minster, so the rest of the shots in the video are from the Ilford Sporti. I don't know if some people just walked into frame on that shot, so I took 2 exposures down the Minster. Hopefully we've got a good one out the 2. I just spotted that the colours and the light in this archway behind me looked absolutely fantastic in the sunlight, so I thought I'd get a quick photo here. Really hope it turns out. It's black and white film, so hopefully nice light contrast. Might look really, really good. Well, I've come to the last exposure on the Ilford, and I thought it'd be cool to come back to where I finished my first video of shooting 35mm film. These 2 super cool old cars. So I'm going to grab final shot, medium format, black and white, on the Ilford, and call it a day. Unfortunately, only 6 exposures with the Balda turned out, and it was quite difficult to use, so this camera will be retired and used as a display piece. The Ilford, on the other hand, all 12 exposures turned out, and some were pretty good, especially the ones that I used a tripod, so I may use this camera again in the future. If you've enjoyed this video so far, thank you for watching. I've still got loads of other cool cameras to try out, so I'll tell you about those. This is an old point and shoot that I just got gifted recently, so I'm yet to try this one out, but I will be getting some batteries and I'll be popping some film in it soon, so there'll be an upcoming review of this camera. And because everyone's after that retro vibe, I'm going to do a video shooting with this camera and we'll see how that shoot goes. And just the other day I picked up this old Russian Zenit E 35mm film camera, and I'm looking forward to testing this one out. So if you want to see more videos of me testing out all these cameras, subscribe to the channel.